Remember, we have four ways. Remember that we have four ways, four types of equations to solve. Remember, when they say find the roots, you're going to make the square root equal to some form of a complex number, x plus iy. Then we're going to start solving like this, right? You square both sides, or you take the square to the other side, it will become squared. Then whatever you do, you get up to here. Now we have equated. Here we had equated the real part. Now what we are left with doing is equating the imaginary part. So let's equate the imaginary part. Remember, always write on one half of the paper so that you can come back and write on the other half, because almost always one half is not enough. So now what am I going to do now? I'm going to write the other side of the paper. Now let's go for it. I'm going to write the other thing, which is the imaginary part. This part, the i's. But right, you leave the I, you just take the other thing. So you're going to say 2xy is equal to 6 root 5. Okay, but we have the x, but we have it as an x squared, right? So I'm going to make this be an x squared because I have an x squared. So I'm going to make the one I have right now be an x squared by squaring. So I'm going to say 2xy all squared is equal to 6 root 5 all squared. This is going to leave me having, you square everything. When things are multiplying, you distribute the power. So you distribute on 2, it becomes 4. On x, it becomes x squared. On y, it becomes y squared. This is equal to, on 6, it becomes 36. On root 5 all squared, the root goes, it just remains as a 5. So now what will I have? I'll have 4x squared y squared is equal to, I'll say 36 by 5. So let's say 36 by 5. I'm going to get 180. So 180. Then I'm going to put what my x squared is. But first I can make x squared the subject. So I'm going to say x squared y squared maybe is equal to 180 over 4. Okay, which is going to be, let's do it, 180 divided by 4 becomes 45. So I can say here that x squared y squared is equal to 45. Now let's put what x squared is. It is y squared minus 4. So you can now say let x squared be equal to y squared minus 4. Now you're going to have it saying y squared minus 4 in terms of x squared, and then it's multiplying a y squared. So multiplying y squared, this is equal to 45 from here, right? Then what are we going to do? We expand. Y squared times y squared becomes y to the 4. Minus y squared times 4 becomes minus 4y squared. This is equal to 45, which will make us say y to the 4 minus 4y squared minus 45 is equal to 0. What do we now have? A quadratic equation, which is what they had said. They said we should make a quadratic equation. It makes itself on its own. Don't try to make it. It will make it on its own by do the steps which we have talked about, okay? Do not change them. So now when I have it like this, what am I going to do now? I am just going to say you create a quadratic equation, right? By letting this middle term be some other letter. So I will say let for example, we say let y squared be equal to some other letter, which is say u. Okay, so wherever there is y squared is u, and this means that now y to the 4 will be equal to u squared. Okay, when you square u, you get y squared all squared, which is y to the 4. So now I'm going to say in terms of, if instead of y to the 4, I now have u squared. So I'm going to now, let me move this a little bit. Sorry. I need to do this, and I'm going to move this here like this. Kind of make it a little bit smaller. Let me see if I can do that. Right, and move it down like that. All right, so good, it looks great. Now we're going to write here. We said instead of having, we'll now say u squared minus, okay, minus 4y squared, it is minus 4u now, then minus 45. U squared minus 4u minus 45 is equal to 0. Now we are solving this quadratic equation. Let's go ahead and let's solve. So how do we solve a quadratic equation? There's a method which I'm going to put in the link as well of how you solve quadratic equations using the thing which I'm about to do, using the T. You do it with a pencil, then you erase. Make sure you erase at the end. So I'm going to take the first number and the last number. I see that the first number is a 1, the last number is a negative 45. So I'm going to find the factors of 1 times negative 45, which is negative 45. I'll find the factors of negative 45. First, I find the factors of 45 itself, which is 1 and 45. 2, no. 3, yes, 3 and 15. You can do it with the calculator. Say 45 divided by 3. You get 15. So it means 3 and 15 are the factors. 4, no. 5, yes, 5 and 9. These are factors. 6, no. 7, no. 8, no. 9 is already there, so we stop. Whenever we get to a number which we've already written, we stop. If you're not sure about this, go check the video, so the playlist which I'll put in the description on factorization using this, just to polish your skills up, because you're going to need to do it while solving for a solution. You don't want to be losing marks because of this. Now, anyway, I'm going to now see that they are multiplying to give me a negative 45. So that means they are going to have different signs. The only way you have two numbers multiplied to give you a negative answer is when they have different signs. So I know that 1 and 45 will have different signs. I know that 3 and 15 will have different signs. I know that 5 and 9 will have different signs. Who is going to be negative? Who's going to be positive? I don't know yet. But I'm now going to come and check on the middle term. The sign of the middle term is the sign of the bigger one. We know they should have different signs. So the bigger one is going to be the negative. That means the smaller one will be the positive. So I'm going to put negative on the bigger one. Then I see which ones will combine to give me a negative 4. 1 and 45, never. 3, no. 5 minus 9, yes. So it's going to be, my factors are going to be u plus 5 and then u minus 9. Okay? Equal to 0. I'm going to now remove this, which means I'm going to say these two numbers are multiplying to give me 0. That means either one is 0 or both are 0. So I'm going to say, if I say u plus 5 is equal to 0, then I would get u be equal to negative 5. And then the other one is u minus 9 is equal to 0, which means u is equal to positive 9. Now, here we can say that since u is equal to y squared. Okay, you get it from squaring something. You get u from squaring. So you can never square something and get a negative solution. So I can't have u be negative 5. So I can say that means it means that u is equal to 9 and then u is not equal to negative 5. It cannot be negative because you get it from squaring a y squared. So that means it can never be the negative number. Now I'm going to say, let's do it. We said y squared is equal to u. So I'm going to now say, all right, you told us that y squared is equal to u, which means that y is equal to plus or minus. We said y squared is equal to u, which means y is plus or minus the square root of u. You take square to the other side, it becomes the square root. So that means y is equal to plus or minus the square root of 9, which means y is equal to plus or minus 3. There we go. These are the two solutions for y. So y is equal to plus or minus 3. Now let's go to x. What did we say? We said x squared. You go back to the equation number 1, which you had made x squared the subject. X squared is equal to y squared minus 4. Now you're going to say let y be equal to positive 3. Okay, because y can be positive 3 or negative 3. You now have x squared be equal to 3 squared minus 4, which means x squared is equal to 9 minus 4, which means that x squared is equal to 4, which means x is equal to plus or minus the square root of 4. Oh, it's 9 squared minus 4, sorry. So this makes it 5. So it is plus or minus the, look at us about to make a mistake after doing everything correct. How bad would that be? So it's plus or minus the square root of 5. Now we'd get x be equal to, yes. So yeah, we have x being equal to plus or minus the square root of 5. That is when y is 3, okay? Y is 3, you get x being plus or minus root 5. All right, so now let's, we have again, we can say it now again to say, okay, we have x squared being equal to y squared minus 4. Again, now we are letting our x be, or our y be the other one, which is negative 3. So we say let y be equal to negative 3. We'll now have x squared be equal to negative 3 all squared minus 4, which is again x squared is equal to, so I have again, let's just say x being equal to plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 4, which is 5 as well. So anyway, I get these solutions. I'm running out of space for some reason. So anyway, what do I have now? So I have my x being this and my y being plus or minus 3. So I got my y being plus or minus 3 and my x being plus or minus root 5. So I might as well just say, remember my y is what goes just before the I. When I write it, it's going to go before the I. In the textbook, they like to put I before it, but when you write in your solutions, remember that usually for your exams, they put the number before the I. So I can just say that this is going to be what? It's going to be plus or minus. Then you open bracket, you put the two x values. What are the x values? Is root 5. So that is why because we had plus or minus root 5 and we had plus or minus 3. Still, both of them are coming out together. So you can just say plus or minus root 5 plus 3i. These are the solutions. These are the roots. There we go. These are the roots. These are the roots. It's plus because we have the x and we have the y. We are done. This will give us all the 5 marks, and I'll say to you, how great was this? You have found the thing and you can go on to the next. We keep going on. we'll see more questions from complex numbers where they ask us to solve things. But I hope you've seen how to do this one. Look at it over and over again and check the playlist for the rest of the examples that I'm going to put for you. Goodbye for now. We meet in the next video. Bye.